Anyway, what I was saying is we are coming to you live on both the original Miami Hurricanes channel's Miami Flow, which begot this show, as well as over on College Football Express. We'll have some guests throughout the night, but my partner in crime on Moan After Dark over on the College Football Mafia channel is joining us. Both of our respective schools are probably going to be pretty active in the first half of the first round. Moan being an Ohio State guy at his core, Big Ten guy and national football guy, and obviously we were born up from Miami Hurricanes. So Moan, welcome over to both Miami Flow and College Football Express, and thanks for joining. How you doing tonight?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. Just I don't have a dog in this fight. My pro team is the Cincinnati Bengals, and they did the smartest thing, I think. You can't have a first round draft bust if you don't draft in the first round. They traded it away and got Dexter Lawrence from the Giants. They needed defensive line help. They got somebody they believe. I mean, they gave him an extra year on his contract. I think it's an extra 28 million in his pocket. So I really don't have a dog in the hunt, other than I'd like to see four Ohio State guys go in the top 10.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting thing. I think that's one of the ones I think I'm looking forward to seeing. What did you think of that trade from a Bengals perspective? Because I know Giants fans are pretty thrilled to basically get a top 10 pick for a very good, but 28-year-old defensive lineman going over to the Bengals and getting that number 10 spot. So they now have two picks in the top 10.
Yeah, I from my point of view, I don't think the Bengals could have done any better with one of the top 10 picks in the draft, especially at 10. I think they knew who they were targeting probably wasn't going to be there at 10, and they weren't going to trade up. So I thought it was a good from that perspective, because I don't think who they really wanted was going to be waiting there for them.
Makes sense. As we get ready for the draft to kick off, we're coming live from Pittsburgh this year. Not too far away from you. Did you give any consideration to making that drive and dealing with all the crazy fans, or very happy to be at home in the comfort of your own home?
I've been to Pittsburgh a lot for. I've been to Heinz Field. Right, it's not called Heinz Field anymore. I don't know what to call it now, but I've been there for several games. And every time I've been there, Cincinnati has won. So, but I decided not to go to Pittsburgh. Um, it's just too crazy. It's too crazy for me to be surrounded by that many Steelers fans. Um, which I have been to Heinz Field, and I have been spat on in Heinz Field as well. So
There
they
you
are
go.
very passionate about their Pittsburgh Steelers. So probably not a good idea for me to be there. So I decided I'd stay home, watch from the comfort of my media room, and do a little live stream with you.
I appreciate it. Let's get things ready here. Let's. I have a different setting, but StreamYard's being unkind. But that's in theory our board here. Let me see if I can get this tool to work a little bit better with all of the options. I don't know what happens with you on StreamYard sometimes, but it can be cruel in sizing out the drop downs. So I have one set. But what is the bit you think that Mendoza is the chalk. Everyone knows he's going one. What is the biggest storyline to you coming in here outside of what you're hoping for the school that you followed in Ohio State?
Where Carnell Tate lands. He got a lot of flack for his slow 40 time. I will remind you, Jerry Rice had a slow 40 time in the combine. I don't think it matters that much. I think the Browns could go for him. At number 6, you get a hometown guy. You need a number 1 wide receiver. Judy is not it. But if he slips past 6, it'll be very interesting to see where he goes. He might go to 10 at the Giants. The Giants may have traded up, and they'll be able to get a solid defensive piece and a solid receiver in the top 10.
Yeah, for me, the thing I'm curious to see, of course, what the Jets do, whether they go with David Bailey, if they go with Arvell Reese. Pity on either of those guys should they get stuck there, but better than Francis Marinoa or Bain going there, where I know a guy I like is doomed to hell forever as a Jets fan. I also follow the Patriots. I mean, not the Patriots a lot more. We'll get to that. The Titans more because of Cam Ward being there. So I'm definitely curious whether or not the Jets stay. I think a lot of teams are trying to trade down, but I don't know if anybody's really going to be successful doing it. And I guess the other question for me is Ty Simpson going in the first round, or is Mendoza really just going to be literally QB1? Or does something weird happen as we get later in the first round? Someone who thinks that they might have a QB on their board for the top of the second round makes a move before, whether it's Simpson or choose your pick, even though a lot of them are projected for third, fourth, maybe late second round. Beck, Nussmeyer, Aller. What will happen there? So, what is your take on the state of the quarterbacks in this draft? Do you think Simpson's going in the first round? Do you think somebody has an outside chance of sneaking in towards the bottom? Like, what's your general take?
It's interesting. Pittsburgh in particular, it's in Pittsburgh. They may make a splash. They may take a QB. They drafted Will Howard last year. Aaron Rodgers, we're playing the waiting game with Aaron Rodgers as per the usual. And all right, Rock disappeared on his own show, so I guess I'm in charge now. And you'll listen to what Moan has to say. I think Ty Simpson could very well be a good trade up target for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If they think someone's going to jump in front of them for Ty Simpson, I would not be shocked to see Pittsburgh go up and get Ty Simpson.
Yeah, I can absolutely see that. I guess I'm wondering whether or not Ty Simpson, whether any of the smoke around him has somebody like the Jets taking him or people playing games around there. That's like the one question that I think really is on the top of my mind. What's going on, Kane? How are you doing tonight? Where do you think, as they kick off the festivities in Pittsburgh here? I'll have it off to the side. If you see me looking off to the side, that's why.
Same.
So you can see the screen as well as get this light going the right way. Um, where do you see the Jets going? Let's assume they get the number 2 pick. Do you think they're going Bailey? Do you think they're going Reese?
I think you go Reese. I think he's a more versatile player, and I'm not saying anything bad about Bailey. I think he's great at his position, but I think Arvell Reese offers you more flexibility in the defense. You can line him up at edge. You can keep him at linebacker. I think he just has a lot more. And he's a ball hawk. He covers damn near all the field when he's playing. You go back and look at the highlights from this past year. Quarterback pressures, stuff in the run, getting up there and jamming receivers. I mean, Arvell Reese is just a more versatile, I think, player than than a pure defensive edge.
Right. The concern to me with Reese is just, does he really have a position? Like, where do you think he's going to wind up lining up? Is he going to be playing in multiple spots on whatever defense he lands on, as opposed to, Bailey definitely being on the edge?
That's a great question. You would know the defensive coordinator at New York a little bit better than I do. I think when you have somebody that multi-talented, I think it's going to be hard to break away from not playing them in multiple positions. I mean, if you ask me who he reminds me most of, it's Micah Parsons. And I think you can just have him as a pure edge. You can have him lining up on the edge. Like I said, he's such a versatile football player, and he's got all the tangibles. I think Arvell Reese is going second, and he's got a fantastic jacket too. Did you see the jacket?
I did not see the jacket.
He's got a branded
one.
Yeah, he's got a branded Reese's. He did some kind of branding deal with Reese's peanut butter cups. He's got a branded Reese's jacket. So I think they're going to get their money's worth because I think he's not slipping past 3.
NIL is alive and well, apparently.
Still, he left college.
Gap.
Yeah, he left college a year early to enter the pros, and he's still making a little NIL money on draft day.
The interesting things that I'm certainly curious. I didn't get the chance to see whether Mr. Vrabel did his pre-press conference. Has more information was breaking about him before he goes into counseling, which apparently he's going to need a lot of counseling to not get divorced. But curious to see what the Giants do with their 2 picks here. A lot of people seem to be trying to not trade away picks for next year's draft. So I wonder if this is going to be a pretty chalk draft because there's not a lot of willing trading partners, even if a lot of people other than your Bengals and the Giants want to trade, or because it's so Wild West and people just go who they think is best available player. Does that open up more trades that maybe aren't as expensive, but people jockey around a few spots in the first round?
Yeah, it's really going to be interesting to see what the Giants do at number 5. I think if what they do at number 5 is going to tell us a lot about what they're going to do at number 10. Do they take Caleb Downs at number 5? I think he warrants it, and I might be looking through Ohio State glasses, but he's clearly the best safety in the draft. But they have more pressing needs. They just traded away Dexter Lawrence. They've got defensive line needs now. And you might want to put a tool around Jackson Dart. You're building a new offense there. Jackson Dart has shown flashes. Maybe they go out. Maybe they reach for Carnell Tate at 5. I could see it happening. And you're muted again, Rock.
I was saying Carnell Tate for me, I think was an interesting one. I'm really curious to see where Caleb Downs goes. There's some people saying he's falling a little bit. I think that's insane. I of course think that Ruben Bain getting judged not on what he did in the field, but whether he's missing a couple of inches on his arms is an interesting to see where he ultimately drops. A few other players have had little injury information come up here or there in the last few days that has impacted, at least the conversation around them. So it's going to be interesting to see how much that does or doesn't impact it. I mean, Ohio State has legitimate, 4 or 5 picks in the first round. Clemson has potentially 3. Miami has most likely 3, an outside chance of something strange happening. It's definitely going to be dominated by a few teams, which isn't necessarily that different. I mean, Indiana's going to have a possible 2 or 3 players in the first round, stuff we would never have said 3 years ago. Is there a player that you're the most curious about, whether, where they ultimately land, or are they first round material? Is there a surprise that you think might jump into the first round that people aren't really mocking out that way?
Jeremiah Love, he was just on the screen here. I think, does he make top 10? Because I think there's a chance he does get drafted in the top 10. I know a lot of people have him projected mid first round, but I think he could move up to the top 10. But you never know. They really don't put as much value on running backs in the draft anymore.
I kind of think, it seems to me that Jeremiah Love might even go top 5, or else there's just a lot of smoke and people are just throwing people off. And I know what the running back situation is. I know Flo is, probably even more high on his Notre Dame counterpart ultimately in the league, who's more projected to be a second-round pick. Shockingly, the Raiders are on the clock, and you might be stunned to know that the pick is in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing I really don't like about the draft is how long they take to pick. It's like 15 minutes. Within the first minute who you're taking. Make the phone call. These picks should take 5 minutes. We should get the first 2 rounds of the draft on night 1.
We should. The question is for you now, Mendoza. If he came out last year, but with this past year's performance, where is he going in the draft?
Number 1.
Last year, if he had this performance and he came out last year, you think he still would have been the number 1 pick?
Yeah. Well, he'd be national champion. He'd be a Heisman Trophy winner. He does have there's people who say Ty Simpson's a better long-term prospect, but if you ask me, and I've got to take a QB at number 1, which everybody tends to agree the Raiders need desperately. Right. The Raiders need a lot of stuff. But, yeah, if you're going to go pick a QB in the first round of the draft, I think you got to take Mendoza.
Well, the Raiders are about to pick him, and I know you'll also be surprised to see that Mr. Goodell is coming out with the least mystery in the entire draft. It's been locked in forever unless something very, very, very strange is about to happen.
Yeah, this but it wouldn't be outside the Raiders playbook to make a draft reach.
Yes, and officially it is Mendoza, leading to the question: how do you all think Mendoza will do in the NFL? For me, my take on him is that I think he will be a serviceable quarterback in the NFL, but I do not think he will be elite when it's all said and done. I think he's got some really great traits. I don't think he's going to be a washout kind of, all nice guy, never does anything, Tim Tebow kind of thing. But I don't know that I think he's going to be the quarterback when it's all said and done that winds up putting the best stats up year to year, even from people who might not get picked to the second through fifth rounds. What is your forward projection on Mendoza?
It's going to be rough for him being in the AFC West, having to go against the Chargers twice a year, the Broncos twice a year, the Chiefs twice a year. But I tend to agree with you. I think he'll be a serviceable quarterback. I think he'll be a smart quarterback. The question is how long can he last behind that Raiders offensive line?
Right. It's just not updated.
We've seen too many quarterbacks get drafted high and then just not have an offensive line, and they just never amount to anything. I mean, Joe Burrow's been struggling in Cincinnati since he was drafted with the offensive line. Right. It's a miracle, and he's been injured twice. He's had 2 season-ending injuries pretty much. So you got to protect the quarterback. So you got to protect the quarterback. You got to provide him weapons too. There's really not a great target out there in Raiders land. So, but hey, you got to build. You got to start somewhere. You're starting with the QB. You just got to keep him healthy.
All right, so the Jets are on the clock. Drop in the chat. Who do you think the Jets are taking? Are they going with Bailey? Are they going with Reese? Are they going to surprise anyone? Or do you think that maybe they're looking at a trade? And there could be a lag, of course, in the stream. You might see stuff leaking on Twitter. We might be ahead of your TV broadcast. We could be up to a minute behind. Say whatever you want in the chat. Everyone just be aware the chats could be ahead or behind where you are, and people will be posting what they do. Just don't post any stupid troll crap. I would like for the Jets, if they're sticking here, to pick Reese over Bailey. I think Bailey is going to be a bust, personally, in the long run. I know he did stat-wise. I know what he did at Texas Tech. I know he's got some great measurables, and he just makes me feel like he's that modern-day version of the Jets of Vernon Gholston. Not all these great stats. Nothing really happened. Not super great against the run. Barely got on the field. I don't think he's going to be that bad, but I'm not confident what they'll do. But the pick is in, so the Cardinals are on the clock. We have not seen what it is, so they certainly didn't take a lot of time to try to figure out what it will be. Kane thinks it's Arbel Reese. What do you think?
I think it's got to be Reese. I think you want a cornerstone of your defense. I think that kid's a leader on the field. I think you got to take Reese, but I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't.
Well, they didn't trade down, and the Jets have another pick in this, I think 16, and then they got 3 first-rounders next year. So they got a lot of time to build stuff up. We'll see what they wind up doing.
Right. I don't think they're going to take a QB here, though. I think they're going to save that for the next class of QBs.
I don't think it's out of the question that the Jets pick a quarterback in the second or third round and see if they get lucky and not have to use it next year, but I think you're probably right.
Let's see. The pick is in. Come on.
And everything's lit up in green, but I think that's not Jets green. I don't know. Probably Steelers green that's not showing up correctly.
Yeah, the pick is in, but they're just I don't know why it takes them so long to do this.
They're trying to figure out where his suit is, his jacket is.
Well, I know they make the phone call to the pick, but I mean, you would almost think if you're the Jets and you're not trading back, you would almost have the ability to just negotiate the contract with whoever you wanted. You knew Mendoza was going first.
Yeah, for sure. I think they used to allow that to happen, but I don't think they really encourage it anymore. Maybe it doesn't matter as much with the slotting fees anyway. Like with the there it is. The Jets pick
There we
David
go.
Bailey. So this draft board is ahead of my TV. I don't know about you.
I
David
just came
Bailey.
through here. Ooh.
I'm not happy. This is why I started
Um,
rooting for the Titans.
yeah, I think that's a mistake.
Vernon Golston goes to the Jets for the second time in 15 years.
I don't know if he's going to be quite the bust Golston was, but
I
I
know
don't
that's an
think.
epic one.
I think when you're talking about him and Reese, I think this is a no brainer for the Cardinals are going to immediately make this pick and take Arvell Reese.
I think they're definitely taking Reese here. I think they would have gone Maui Noah without it, and Bailey would have slipped a bit. I mean, Flo last night on our show on College Football Express is pretty high on Bailey. He likes what he sees on film, and I'm certainly not diminishing that. But I just he piled up stats against the Big 12, which outside
Yeah.
of Utah doesn't necessarily have any really massively strong offensive lines. He was at Stanford before that, and not really particularly great against the run in college. And if you're going to be the second pick in the draft as a lineman on the defensive side of the ball, you really need to be like good in something and great in the other, if not great in both. Like he doesn't hold the edge like Messidor or Bain do on the run game, for example.
Yeah, I think this is a reach by the Jets. Um, but again, pass rushers are sexy, run stuffers aren't.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to hurt Caden McDonald the most in this draft. People don't really put enough emphasis on stopping the run anymore because the NFL's just got to be such a pass heavy league. But listen, if you're Arizona, you're doing backflips. You're doing backflips right now because they probably didn't think Reese was going to fall to them.
But between the Jets and the Cardinals, you have a very good shot of blowing something, even
That's
when things are
true.
obvious. I
Yeah,
can see them.
these
I could also see them going for Maui Noah here as well to build
possibility.
up that
Yeah.
offensive line. I couldn't be less happy. But this is exactly why, Mo, and I say that I have become a Titans fan once Cam Ward went there, because the Jets have put me through my last moment of patience. Secondarily, I live out in LA, so I watch the local teams here or there. But this is the reason. Maybe it's one more step closer to Aaron Glennon team being 2 and done.
Yeah, man, I'm still a little bit stunned by that. I cannot believe they took Bailey. I agree with you. He didn't play enough elite talent in college to dictate to me that he's a top 2 pick.
Yeah, like I think he just another guy. Let me be clear. I think Bailey's talented. I think I'm over exaggerating on the Vernon Golston side, but I would also say that I'm not as high on him. I don't think he's put it on tape. I think he's an underwear Olympics god, right? And you're doing it based off of potential and and definitely things you've done on the field, but I can't sit there and say it's the same thing as what I don't know what Bain did against playing against Ohio State in the playoff game or against a strong offensive line, right? As an example, or against Texas A&M. So Reese, I think, has more ability to adapt, and honestly, I think the Jets also need a leader on that defensive side, and that's not necessarily what we've heard about Bailey, and that's okay. Not everybody can play that role. Some do it by example. The Cardinals are on the clock here, according to let's open up, see what the NFL has to say about them. They're hitting reset at quarterback. Yeah, their quarterback room is pathetic. I don't even know if you need to protect their quarterback room. I mean, Jacoby Brissett's the best they got there. So they need edge, DL, linebacker, offensive line. I mean, they need everybody. Mike LaFleur is their new head coach, the Rams offensive coordinator the last 3 years. So we will see what the Cardinals bring to the table here, as I'm mad.
you bring up a great point. The Cardinals are doing a reset. They may trade some players away to move up and get another pick in the first round.
They
They
could.
they need they need draft capital. That's a dumpster fire there in Arizona. Um, they need a lot. They need a lot.
If you're watching over on X on Miami Flow 305 or CFB Express, please consider coming over to CFB Express here on YouTube. Get in the chat, make some predictions along with us on who you think is getting picked next and what you think about the other results of the picks that people are doing. Let's get those in. The pick is in for the Cardinals, so we should see that changing here momentarily.
Yeah, they might go OL here, but who knows? Like I said, they need so much stuff in Arizona.
And the Titans are now on the clock. Let's see whether the TV stays ahead of the ticker again.
There are Cardinals fans there.
All 12 of them travel. Good for them.
There's dozens of them. But like I said, I feel your disappointment, but hey, that's what I'm saying. I'm a Bengals fan, and they saved me the disappointment by trading the pick.
Simpatico.
I don't have the volume
Jeremiah
up. I hope Roger Goodell's still
at
getting
number
booed.
3. There go the Cardinals.
You know what? For the position, it's a reach. Yeah, for the position, it's a reach.
I'm surprised that they went through. I mean, I'm surprised at that one.
To take a running back in the top 3 nowadays, that's I mean, I thought
some. What was last year? Number 4 or 5? Ashton Genty was what, number 5?
Yeah. But Ashton Genty was more of a generational player than Jeremiah Love, and I'm not going to dunk on him just because he's from Notre Dame. I mean, I will dunk on him because he's from Notre Dame, but not just because of that. I mean, he's a top 10 running back, but number 3, I don't know. And going to the Cardinals.
The Cardinals' room, does Arizona have a quarterback? Jacoby Brissett is the best quarterback in their room. That's their number 1 guy. The other 2, I can't remember who else is in there. I looked at it last night, but it's not that. It's not that thing. Titans are on the clock. I'm thinking this might be Mauanoa from the Canes here.
They need offensive line help. They do. They need offensive line help. But I mean,
get Cam Ward in their ear. He knows the guy who's protecting him. If a Miami guy is going to go in the top part, it's probably going to be here with the influence of Ward, on them. And especially since Bailey, well, I don't know. I mean, it could be your boy. It could be Ohio State here too. Arvell Reese could go here, with Titans' new head coach, defensive coordinator, right? Former Jets coach. They absolutely could go defense here.
Yeah, solid. Oh boy,
solid could go defense. Most of the times these coordinators, and granted he was a head coach before, so maybe he'll go against type, but you can often see these guys decide to draft on their side of the ball, whether they're the strongest, especially when we know that Saleh has said he's going to call plays on the defense.
Yeah,
so I don't know whether Reese was the guy calling, plays up front for Ohio State or not. I assume he was, but I don't know that.
But I think it gets back to protecting the quarterback. You invested in Cam Ward last season. I think you've got to protect that investment. I think you do need to take OL here. But I wouldn't be shocked if they took Reese.
I would personally go OL, but I just wonder if, it's too difficult for Salah to pass on somebody like Reese.
Yeah, that might be a question. He may not have thought he would be in this position, and he might have to take a look at it and say, we got to take this guy. He's too talented at number 4 to and we'll get more OL help in the later rounds of the draft. But
I mean, the Cardinals must have just really thought that they're going to be in the market for a quarterback, whether it's later in this round or tomorrow, and they're going to give him somebody to help from day one.
yeah, you're going to need to. I mean, and Jeremiah Love had some injury issues. Towards the end of the season, they were real coy about it. We don't know how injured he really was, whether he was able to play or not. That went into the whole. We brought that up talking about the CFP decision to include Miami over Notre Dame.
Right.
But, I mean, apparently Arizona thinks, yeah. And again, I don't know. Titans, the pick is in. We'll see.
Yeah,
but I think
look,
you got to go offensive line.
This will tell us a lot about how much influence Cam Ward has with Robert Saleh, I think. And the Giants are on the clock.
So yeah.
Wow.
That's not going to set up.
Surprised on back-to-back ones here. I had seen Jeremiah projected in the top 5 or 6. A lot had them with the Titans, but I'm still surprised he went to the Cardinals there.
Yeah, I'm almost kind of relieved that Reese didn't go to the Cardinals. Just because Christian Bros College High School. Okay. That is certainly a name.
All right, let's see where the Titans go. That pick is in. Giants are on the clock. Browns are up next. If you're watching on either YouTube channel, please make sure you've hit the like button. Lets the algorithm know that it does send people our way. There's obviously a lot of people doing streams tonight, but we appreciate you stopping by and spending some time with us. Titans on the clock. The pick is in. We're waiting for, not on the clock. The pick is in. Giants on the clock, waiting to see what comes up here. Will they go offense and protect Cam Ward so he's only running around for his own reasons, not for his own life? Or does Robert Saleh stick on the defensive side in year 1 as the head coach? Robert Goodell making his way out on my TV, which means the pick is probably about to be a few seconds ahead here on the stream. Wow. All right, so this is, I would say that I don't know that these last 2 picks have gone chalk, man.
Well, you're getting a weapon for Cam Ward.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I don't think if you're a Titans fan, I don't think you're mad. Tate better get out fast, and Cam's going to have to get him the ball fast. But
I think if you're the Browns and the Commanders, you're probably scrambling right now.
This draft is not going to chalk, and you could see a lot of people not super thrilled with that one. Wow. Horrible. Laughing my ass off. Haha. And that's not really a reflection on Tate at all. That's just more of, I'm sure there's a bunch of people coming in from the Miami Flow side of life here who are thrilled that some Canes might be falling down to maybe their Dolphins, if they're, as most might be Canes and Dolphins fans, and Dolphins got a couple of picks here. But that's not one of the ones I saw on mocks. Granted, there's 175 mock drafts out there, so who knows? But Moen, obviously you're an Ohio State guy. Tell everyone what the Titans and Cam Ward are getting with Carnell Tate in a world where Jeremiah overshadows everyone, but he was still a baller this past season in most of the games he played.
Yeah, he's got great hands. He can go up and get the ball. A lot of people, said he had to go back for the ball a lot of times, but I think that falls more on Julian Sayin, underthrowing a lot of passes, but Carnell Tate was able to go back and get them. Great hands, Great player. I mean, it's hard to go wrong drafting an Ohio State wide receiver in this day and age. I mean, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, uh, Terry McLaurin in Washington is still putting up plays every year. Jackson Smith and Jigba just became the highest paid wide receiver, another Ohio State product. If a guy's recruited by Brian Hartline, uh, he's a special player at wide receiver.
Right.
But I mean, look at the hands on that pass from over the Texas safety.
What are you hearing about Ohio State's new wide receivers coach after spring practice, since the legend has gone to USF to be their head coach?
Good thing. Chris Henry Jr. committed. Saw some flashes of him in the spring game. But it seems like they're just chugging along. So we'll see how they go here. They're showing all the Marvin Harrison has definitely underperformed in Arizona, but that's I don't know what the issue is there, because Marvin Harrison Jr. was such a great receiver at Ohio State. I don't know if that's something with the organization, Kyler Murray. But hey, maybe somebody gets lucky and the Cardinals think he's a bust and they trade him out of there. Somebody gets a good receiver cheap.
I don't think I saw one mock draft that had Arvell Reese being drafted after Carnell Tate. And I think this is a pretty good comment here. Picks 2 to 4 show you why those organizations suck. Again, not that those players suck, but
listen, I completely understand. The Titans definitely needed offensive line help, but you're getting a weapon for Cam Ward, and this might be something that Cam Ward pressed.
For sure. About wanting another weapon, I don't doubt it. I just think it's hard to get elite linemen versus wide receivers. There's probably a few more in this draft.
Well, they may have looked at it and they may have decided that offensive tackle was not elite enough to pass up a Carnell Tate. But I wish Jeremiah Love one is still shocking to me in the top 3.
That was, again, I had seen him on some at 4. I know I had seen him projected to the Titans at 4 and a couple, but I don't think I had seen, personally, I didn't see anything with the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the Giants do, because I think that's going to set what the Cleveland Browns do. I think Cleveland is probably looking at Caleb Downs now. I think that's probably where they're looking.
I mean, for me personally, Caleb Downs would be the one player off of Ohio State's roster that's in the draft this year that my team, regardless of where they were drafted, that I would want.
Yeah, he seems like the most can't miss prospect. I mean, he comes into college, plays 3 years in college at a high level at Alabama in the SEC, and then he plays at Ohio State, wins national championship there. So he's played elite competition. He's played in the SEC. He's played in the Big Ten. He's played in the playoffs. Played in a championship game. You know what he can do. I tend to agree with you. I think he's the best. If you're going to give a can't miss prospect, it would probably be Caleb Downs. Now, I know a lot of people have kind of come down on him because they don't think he has the physical measurables, the strength that a safety needs in the NFL. But I mean, he's certainly got the speed. He's got high football IQ. He seems to just flow to the ball. So I think if the Browns get Caleb Downs, I think they're going to be ecstatic, because I don't think they thought he would be here.
I'm sure they didn't think he would be here. I want to divert for one quick second and give a little praise to Mr. Mendoza, as this tweet, I think, came right before he got picked, and is a good thing. His family fund, I guess, that he's established now that he's a multimillionaire, donated $500,000 to the Miami Health and Miami Medicine to help fund research for multiple sclerosis, which his mom has been diagnosed with since 2008, who's also a Miami alum. So shout out to him for a nice donation to the school that at one point he wanted to go to, maybe had a chance to later, chose Indiana. Obviously that worked out great for him, but that's a great way to kick off your career and do something good with the money that you just got.
Yeah. And he can afford it. He's the number 1 overall pick. He's going to get paid.
He can afford it. More comments coming in. Titans could have went offensive line first and Bell or Concepcion Branch with their second pick. I agree. I would have done that personally, but
I'm not going to bag on him too much because, again, I don't know how much influence Cam Ward has there.
Right.
If Cam Ward is literally saying, if I'm your franchise QB, I need a franchise wide receiver, you got to get up and take. I think Tate's the best wide receiver in the class. Now, maybe you could have traded back if you could have found a willing trade partner and you thought you could trade back. Ooh, the Chiefs have moved up.
Wow.
So, yeah. Look at that. The Chiefs moved up to 6. So they've got a definite person they're going to go out there and grab. Now, this is going to be interesting.
And they already know who the Giants pick with the commercial, the way it works.
Yes.
So all these guys know about it right away, which is why you get some of the leaks. All the teams find out at the same time. They don't find out when it's on the stage. As soon as the Giants pick is in, it's communicated. They're trying to keep people from revealing things. People doing that on Twitter, but the real deal is they know exactly, so they can guarantee they're getting who they want.
See what the Giants do here. They do need defensive line help. They just traded Dexter, so
Trevor thinks it's going to be Caleb Downs here.
I think he thinks Chiefs are taking Downs.
Yeah. There's Arvell Reese going to the Giants before they hit the stage. Yeah, I think Trevor thinks Chiefs are going to go with Caleb Downs. Now, I will say, when they were still back at 9, they were often mocked for Ruben Bain.
Yeah, but I mean, they need secondary help. Caleb Downs, I think if you're trading up to number 6, you're trading up because you know Caleb Downs is available.
All right.
I have to believe the Commanders might be trying to trade out of this pick.
You think?
They might. They may have really been set on a wide receiver here, and you can't take a wide receiver. Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe they do.
High for the next one.
Yeah, maybe they do offensive line here. Maybe they take your boy. I don't know, but if you're the Jets, you better hope that Arvell. I mean, you got 2 teams in New York, and if Arvell Reese hits for the Giants,
I can tell you right now, I've been a Jets fan my whole life until I gave it up. I blame my dad for all of it. There's literally guarantees that David Bailey will be a washout and Arvell Reese will be Lawrence Taylor II. You could almost print the ticket to Canton for Arvell Reese, because that's just what it's like if you're a Jets fan.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, look at him. He just flows to the ball. Looking at the highlights here from Arvell Reese, and I mean, this is against elite competition. Here you go, against Penn State. Look at this kid. Boom.
He can't even get the hat on his head.
Yeah. I mean, so I mean, look at him. He's lining up on edge here. He's got the running back for a loss. And the running back was running the opposite side.
All right, the Chiefs pick is in. Commanders are on the clock.
This has to be Downs here.
I would think it's Downs, but it could be Bain.
Could be.
But again, they thought they could get him at 9. A lot of people had that. I mean,
but would they trade up to 6 for Bain? I don't think.
Know. It depends upon they only depends upon. I didn't see what they gave up, because there's only a 3-spot move. It's not a lot of capital. It's good. It's costing you some points, but it's not a 10-spot move.
Yeah, I think once Tate was off the board, Cleveland was ready to move out of that. I think they probably Carnell Tate was probably number one on their board.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they move up for Bain. I'm just thinking that they were in love with him at 9 and they want to make sure they got him. I don't think that because there were some conversations about the Saints and Bain also.
Good possibility. Yeah, this has been a weird draft. I mean, this is not. Yeah. You look at the first 5 picks. I mean, outside of Mendoza, this is not what I would have had for picks 2 through 5.
Not at all. Not at all. So it makes the draft great, right? It doesn't matter what we all thought.
Yeah. These organizations are going to do what they want to do. Sometimes you just fall in love with a guy, and that's all there is to it. And you're taking them at whatever pick you're at. And I think that happened for both the Cardinals and the Jets. I think they fell in love with these guys, and you weren't going to talk them out of picking them.
Yeah, and especially the Jets didn't even do their 30 with they didn't even do their 30 with Bailey. They knew enough about him, so that was definitely not what people thought.
Yeah, but this is a great storyline though, because I mean,
they did give up a decent amount. I don't know if you're seeing right now. The Browns are getting for moving up, dropping down 3 spots. They gave up a 2026 third, a third and a fifth for the 3-spot move. Is the points on that?
Yeah, Cleveland needs a lot of stuff too. So Cleveland, we won't even get into the Deshaun Watson disaster in Cleveland.
Yeah. All right. What's that Chiefs thing should be moving here momentarily.
Yeah, it seems like the pick's been in forever on the Chiefs. Let's get to the Chiefs.
They had that commercial. Wow.
Yeah.
Mansour Delane, the best cornerback in the draft in a lot of people's minds.
Well, there you go. I mean, that again, fall in love with the guy, but
absolutely a nutty draft this far. Now, if you want to see delusional, this was our mock draft, and you can see, in general, as a Jets fan, so he had Ruben Bain second, but we're nowhere close to anything in this draft. Nowhere close.
Yeah. Shit, if the Bengals still had the number 10 pick, I might be excited right now. There might be a lot of great. There might be Sonny Styles still on the board. Caleb Downs still on the board.
What's up, Daniel? Daniel Gygax from the College Football Mafia is joining us, adding to the chaos. How you doing, Daniel?
I will say it's been unusual. It's I don't get some of the picks. Tate, yeah, the Texans need a running back, but they need defense more than anything. Just to sit there and go through. I mean, Mendoza going 1, that was a pretty easy pick. I thought the Jets would trade down.
I thought the Jets would trade down too, Daniel. I just don't think a lot of teams were really in the business of trading down because they're not wanting to trade up much, other than obviously we just saw the Chiefs do it to get Delane. But who knows?
Which I actually like this pick. They needed help in the secondary, and they got probably the best true cornerback in the draft.
Yeah,
I don't hate this pick. I don't know that you needed to trade up to 6 to have it happen.
I'm trying to see if there were any sort of mocks there to look at, but let me see about PFF.
I mean, do you think Mansour Delane wasn't going to be there at 9?
Well, on PFF's, their mock, they, or their rate, because they had Mansour at number 9, so a little bit ahead.
Yeah.
Sonny Styles was a lot further ahead on a bunch of these boards as well. So that will be one to see how that continues to go.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I almost hope Ohio State players slip a little bit so they go to good teams.
At a certain point, better than that. How many picks they gave up? They gave up 2 picks. They gave up a 3rd and 5th round. I don't know where in the 3rd and 5th round those picks the Chiefs gave up are. I don't know if they're their equivalent of their 1st round pick for where they finished, or like some other teams. I think they're their own picks though. So.
All right, who does Washington grab? This is a great question. They need a lot. Do they let Caleb Downs slip past them here? I mean, you can't take a wide receiver. Well, I mean, the Titans did, but I don't think there's another wide receiver that's worthy of a top 10 pick here.
No. You're going to just, I mean,
Moen AI is making
hold on.
picks.
Hold on. I had it pulled up best availables earlier, but now I don't.
The draft is not necessarily the best place if you're ADD.
No. I mean,
Bain here or Downs, those are possible. Saints have been mocked for both of them.
Well, they need offensive line as well. They could grab your guy.
About, probably more than half of the people watching us right now that are praying that at number 11 the Dolphins have their pick.
Sonny Styles.
Sonny Styles. So we now have Moen and his Ohio State has 4th, 5th, and 7th for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And I've got to believe if the Saints don't take Caleb Downs, the Browns are tripping over themselves to grab Caleb Downs right now. If they get Caleb Downs at 9, that's a huge win in this trade, in my opinion.
The Giants are now on the clock with the pick they got from the Bengals the other day. Pick is in for the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints, that was quick. The Saints knew who they were grabbing. So it could be Bain here. Could be Bain.
I mean, neither Bain or Maui Noah is slipping past 11. One of them is getting picked by the Dolphins if they're both left. I'd be stunned if that doesn't happen. Dolphins have built enough enemies in Miami as it is.
Yeah, and he's played right there in that building.
Yeah, I don't think if we go back and look at mock drafts, anybody had this.
No, I mean, this is like, day one of the NCAA tournament. Everybody's out by 2 p.m.
Yeah, definitely.
My worst NCAA tournament, can't remember, 2015, 16. I had Michigan State, who was a 2 seed, and WVU at a 3, both in the Final Four, and both were on a bus by 1 o'clock here, West Coast time. Out of the tournament.
Illini Ted's in the house. Haven't seen you in a minute, man. Hope you're doing good.
Man, if you're the Browns and you're getting Caleb Downs and a 3rd and a 5th to move back 3 spots. I mean, if anybody could screw it up, it'd be the Cleveland Browns, though. So
I'll give the Raiders that top pick. The Browns do screw things up. But
let's be real.
Is
All of
it,
these teams, except for the Chiefs, have been known to screw it up recently.
yeah, it's true. Where's Downs originally from? I know he played their OSU. Is he originally from Ohio or
No.
hold
I
on?
think he's from Louisiana. I might be wrong. He played at Alabama for a season, and then he transferred to Ohio State, won the national championship that year, and this was his junior year this season.
Okay.
But
Hold on. He is from Georgia.
Georgia. Okay.
I swear these picks seem like they're going slower than I remember, even though I know once we get past the first several, you're down to 8 minutes. But they're definitely milking it. They're going to make sure, even if they could do this in under 3 hours, they will make sure they keep this going for 3 hours.
Hey, they need that ad revenue.
Absolutely. All right, a question in the room: how is Bain still on the board? I think it's people either not their need or they're measurables and they're afraid of whatever they think his short arms are, regardless of his bend. I don't really know that it's the later breaking news about the accident from a couple years ago because everyone seemed to have known that already, and the Heat seemed to have dried up about that already. But I'm surprised that
Also, he might not have been good at the Jim Short Olympics there in Indianapolis.
Well, he didn't do much at the Indianapolis, but he was pretty good at his pro day. I mean, he went viral because of the bend drill.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the guys on the field. I don't know what. I think GMs get caught up too much and think that there's some mechanical or programmable way to determine who is going to be, a great athlete. And I've seen too many can't miss prospects miss. So I think you got to look at all the time. Look at the on-field play. Bain was fantastic in that playoff run. And that was against elite talent. So I don't know. Yeah, you never know.
I don't know. Everybody, who do you think the Saints are picking here? We're in a commercial break, so the pick has been in for about 94 minutes. We might find out about it after this word from LinkedIn.
I think your boy on the O-line's probably got it.
You think it's Maui Noah going here?
I think so. I think at number 8. Now they could take Bain. They do need edge help.
Yeah,
but I think if you can get, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you look at PFF's board, for whatever that's worth, the best available on their board is their board has Bain at 5. Or I don't know if it's their best available. I think this might be their mock. No, it's their big board, so it's their best available. They had Bain at 5. Bailey's taking. They have Maui Noah at 7. Everybody else has been picked from their board as we head into the Saints pick at 8. So the rest of it they've done. Then they have other candidates like they had Dylan the Eneman from Oregon, Fano coming up, Monroe Feeling, Sadiq, who I think is underrated at 14. I think he's going to be a monster at the tight end position from Oregon. That's a little bit of their board, and I don't know what Mel Kiper's best available is.
Doesn't matter.
No,
but I mean, you got to look at it.
I just want to know whether he's starting to melt down about anybody, even at like 1% of his Shedeur Sanders meltdown.
Oh, that was an all-time classic.
It was. While we're waiting for the pick to come, appreciate you all checking everything out. Please make sure whether you're on Miami Flow or CFB Express, hit the like button. If it's the first time you're seeing CFB Express over Miami Flow, please consider giving us a subscribe as well and coming over to the chat here. We cover the National Football side, though born on the Miami Flow channel. If you're over on Twitter, jump into the chat here on YouTube. Get your take, get your comments, jump in some of the polls. We'd really appreciate that as well. Moen, why don't you tell everyone where they could find you while we're waiting for this pick to come in?
You can find me on the College Football Mafia along with Daniel Gygax. It's at the CFB Mafia here on YouTube and on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter correcting journalists who don't know that it's all for naught, NAUGHT, on Twitter as well, at Moen After Dark. And you can thank me later, Ross Dellinger, for helping you out there. I noticed you deleted the post after the fact, Mr. Journalist, Mr. Communications degree.
Oh man. All right. Roger's walking out. We might finally find out what happens when the Saints come marching in.
Do the Saints might take a quarterback here too. You never know. Maybe they're the ones that reach for Ty Simpson.
Why?
Somebody's going to reach for Ty Simpson.
The Browns.
Yeah. Look, how the Browns picked 2 QBs last year and still have quarterback as a need. LOL. Exactly.
Yeah. Have you seen the Browns play?
Yeah, I mean, since the Browns came back, they've had 65 some quarterbacks.
The Saints are doing Saints level things. Jordan Tyson. Certainly a first round conversation, but he's much further down on most people's boards. No disrespect to the young man.
I'm shocked.
Wow. The Saints are still thinking it's Mardi Gras. Somebody's heavily drinking.
I'd love to take a look at the room for the Cleveland Browns right now. They've got to be doing backflips.
They probably are still getting who they wanted 2 spots earlier. I cannot believe that Jordan Tyson, who is a first-round wide receiver, but nobody that I know had him in the top 10.
Well,
I can't recall seeing him.
If Caleb Caleb Downs not going to Cleveland, I'll be shocked.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It's amazing. It's amazing. The Giants are on the clock. The Browns might wind up being the one sane team here. I'm trying to look at all the other places. Jordan Tyson. Let me see the mock. There's a great site, an NFL mock draft database that has a consensus board of of over 180 big boards. And let's see where Mr. Tyson was on theirs, because that's the best. Yeah, they're a little bit better to be a little bit fair on this one that synthesizes all of these mock drafts. They had Jordan Tyson at number 11 on their mock draft database from everybody's mock. So maybe not as big of a leap, but it's still a little bit of a leap to me, at least.
I think this is a bigger reach than Carnell Tate. I think this takes a little bit of heat off of that Carnell Tate pick.
That's true.
Flo will be ecstatic about this one. Hilarious. We slid into an alternate universe. I tell you, I like currents right now for Miami. Well, if you're a Dolphins fan, you're getting a cane if you want a cane. I don't think you're going to get blocked by both the Browns and Giants. But then again, if you're a Dolphins fan, you might get blocked by the Browns and Giants.
Yeah, I could see Bain going at 10.
All right, who's the pick for the Browns, everybody? Quick before it's on the screen.
Caleb Downs. I think they've got to be ecstatic right now. Caleb Downs still being on the board. But it's the Browns.
Caleb Downs. I'm taking Caleb.
It's the Browns. They may take Ty Simpson. They may add another quarterback to that long list of careers killed.
Kane thinks it's CeCe Mauanoa here. Jordan Tyson looks like he might have starred in the new Michael Jackson movie.
He's Tebowing, but he's doing it much, much longer. And he's drooling. That's always a good sign right there. He's champing at the bit so much that he's drooling.
Tyson's a good receiver, don't get me wrong. I just thought it was a little bit high there.
I think that's a reach. Like that's where I
didn't
would have
see the
slotted
drool, but
Carnell Tate.
that he's going to be memed off that drool in the walkway.
All right, Cleveland, let's make it 4 Buckeyes in the top 10. Take Caleb Downs. Be smart.
All right, the Browns pick is in. Giants are on the clock. If we're lucky before the season starts, we'll find out who the Browns have picked.
They got to get that commercial ad break in.
Yeah, you got to do the backstage interviews too. Keep that reporter away from the coaches, though.
Man, oh man.
Again, and this is what gets me. And I know Big 12 fans are going to hate to hear this. You're going to hate to hear this, Daniel. But I want to see the guys compete against the best talent there is in college football before I make a pick on them.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I don't think the Big 12 is strong enough to make. I don't know.
That was the question I had with Genty
Wow.
going.
Wow. Fano gets picked before Francis Mauigoa by the Browns. Well, the Dolphins, if you want a king, you're going to get your choice of one, Dolphins. The Giants already have the pick in. Unbelievable. I can't believe Fano got picked before Mauigoa. That must be because of concerns about his back.
Maybe.
I will say this. The one position Cleveland actually has been pretty successful at drafting is offensive line.
That's true. They'll keep a quarterback upright long enough for that quarterback to throw an INT.
Oh, man. I don't know. We're in a generation where we're asking guys what their favorite anime and Pokemon is. I think truly is the lost generation. Listen, they asked this kid what his favorite freaking Star Wars movie is, and he goes Rogue One. Come on.
That's solid, but
that's defensible. He didn't say anything.
No, but I mean, come on. You're going to put Rogue One over Empire Strikes Back. Come on. That should disqualify him right there.
Watch them back to back. They're both.
There we go.
They're both solid.
Francis Mauigoa off the board to the Giants. Dolphins are on the clock.
I just can't believe Caleb Downs has slipped this far. I mean, I heard the things about, he doesn't have enough upper body strength and the physical attributes, but and I think if you're the Giants, I mean, I guess you're trying to protect Jackson Dart. I think you think he's the guy, but I mean, you just traded Dexter Lawrence. You might need some help on that D-line next year.
I'm still surprised that Mauigoa went behind Fano, but
yeah,
it must be the injury. It's the only I can think of, to be honest.
So, okay, guys, I'm going to have to go.
All right, man. Thanks for stopping by for a bit. Appreciate it, Daniel. Be good.
Hey, no problem. Oh, and tomorrow night, Friday, big freaking Friday.
That's right. Big freaking Friday show on College Football Mafia at 8 p.m. Thanks for plugging it, Daniel. Appreciate that.
You guys will be in
Dolphins have traded the pick.
Of course.
Wow. The Dolphins moved down a spot. Cowboys are up. Wow.
Now, do the Cowboys take Bain here?
I mean, the Dolphins will be hated in their hometown if that's what just happened.
Oh, they have the pick in. They knew right away.
I didn't even have to change the Dolphins around the clock because the Cowboys came in so fast with their pick.
All right, you're hugging them too long, Roger. Come on, let's move this along.
I think it's Downs. And then the Dolphins save a little bit of money on Bain. But if the Dolphins passed on Bain and Bain becomes a stud, they will never live it down.
I don't know. I could see the Dolphins passing on him, but
I can.
That's
see the
another
Dolphins doing
dysfunctional
anything.
organization.
I mean, I can't say that they're a dysfunctional organization because, again, at my core, before I gave it up, I'm a Jets fan. So it's hard to cast aspersions against pretty much anybody except for maybe the Browns and the Bengals. But even there, it's debatable.
The Bengals got bailed out by Joe Burrow.
Yes.
He did make a Super Bowl, so, and now they're going to waste him in his prime, so. Cowboys pick is in. Let's hear it. Kirk
Giants have a
Herbstreit's getting...
nice first round with their 2 picks, though. Right? They got Arvell Reese. I mean, look at this, man. We got the New York Giants bringing Miami and Ohio State together again.
Very true.
A nice round for the Giants. So they traded a 28-year-old defensive lineman essentially for a new starting right tackle, maybe right guard.
Yeah, I think the trade worked out for both of them. I think Cincinnati got what they needed, and they got somebody who's established. And, the Giants probably just drafted their next OT for a decade.
And we're another commercial. All right, so all the Dolphins fans in the chat, if you're over on X, come on over. If the Cowboys draft Bain here because they moved one spot with the Dolphins, how pissed or will you be? And who do you think the Cowboys are going to pick while we wait for a lawnmower commercial in my neighborhood? Over on ESPN.
I'm watching on ABC, so I got an appliance commercial.
God, who's the host of the ABC? Is it the college guys?
Yeah, it's Nick Saban and Kirk Herbstreit, and
the people actually know the players.
Yeah, who's hosting on ESPN?
It's the Greenberg one.
Oh.
It's Greenberg, the Kuiper, that whole crew. Rich Eisen's over on the NFL Network.
I'm sure Kuiper's in there flapping his gums.
Super Soul thinks Cowboys are getting down. So does Shonsky. Good to see you, man. Kane thing. I wonder what Flo will do if the Cowboys get Bain over the Dolphins. I don't know what he'll do, but I know what the general and I will do to him next Wednesday night on CFB Express. After I take after Flo, who praised Bailey, and I said he's going to be a bust, goes to the Jets. So it'll be a fun opening segment at a minimum.
Yeah, that's a hell of a top 10. I don't think anybody had that pegged.
No, I mean, there's a lot of most of the names are there, in most of the consensus, but the order's definitely different. And then there's obviously Bain not making it into the top 10, where most people had him in the top 10, but there's certainly others that projected him to be, after all the developments and news and, measurables in the 11 to 15 zone.
So Ohio State has 3 picks in the top 10, and Caleb Downs slipped.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't get why he's slipping other than, listen, I understand in the position wars that exist that there's more value placed on some other positions. But I don't think that Matt Patricia is half the defense. Well, not half. I think a large reason why Matt Patricia was able to run such a dominating defense is because you had Caleb Downs in your secondary, who could
absolutely
enable Patricia to call literally split coverage kind of schemes in the secondary, because he essentially had a defensive coordinator in training out there running the shot.
Yeah, he said he's
football IQ.
Yeah, he's never seen a kid that young with that much football IQ. So, and Matt Patricia, for all his faults as a head coach in the NFL, he did pretty well for himself as a defensive coordinator in the NFL.
Yeah, for sure. Shonsky hopes that the Dallas gets Downs. Yeah. Caleb Downs already, if he comes here, I think will be, in 3 years from now, one of the most underpicked first rounders of this draft based off of performance. And there it is. So Caleb Downs goes to the Dallas Cowboys. That's a very Dallas Cowboys pick. And the Dolphins are on the clock. I mean, the Dolphins pick is in. The Rams are on the clock. The Rams doing something very un-Ram-like most of the time, and that's actually keeping their pick.
We'll see. Maybe they'll trade it last minute here.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it is the Rams. They're very likely to do that.
Who can they go up and grab to justify getting rid of that pick? So we think Bain's going to Miami, right? That's pretty much what we...
I think Bain's going to Miami, except for the Dolphins are the Dolphins.
Yeah, but the top 2 wide receivers are off the board. Do they reach for a wide receiver here?
Look, if you're Bain and you fall to the Dolphins and you wanted to be like top 3, top 5, top 7, you're probably pretty damn happy at the end of the day. So it could be a consolation prize that makes you thrilled. You don't even have to pack. But it is the Dolphins.
So four of the top 11 were Buckeyes. I'll take it.
Yeah. Part of me doesn't want the Dolphins fans to be happy, because I'm not happy as a Jets fan, but I would like Ruben Bain to be happy. But I don't. I think he'd be much happier winning with the Rams, though. Because if you want to go play for somebody, go and play for McVay. He'd be reunited with a Kane or 2 that it's on the Rams roster. But I mean, I wish I could hear the city of Miami right now if the Dolphins do not pick Bain. It would almost be like Star Wars, to go back to your Star Wars reference, when the whole planet screamed in tragedy as the Death Star obliterated Princess Leia's home.
Oh, we got to do another backstage interview. Yeah, that guy did pretty well for himself. He's got 2 kids in the NFL now. I'd be smiling too.
Kane thinks like, I kind of want the Dolphins not to get Bain so that Rock in the general control flow.
Well, the Dolphins moved pretty quick, so they knew who they wanted.
I mean, they must have known. They must have had a sense. But the Cowboys only moved up 1 spot, right? They didn't move up 2.
No, they just flipped with the Dolphins.
So they must have thought the Dolphins were going to take Downs. But if they were, what did the Dolphins get to give up Downs? Or they just bluffed it?
Now, it would be the Dolphins' thing to flub it.
Hey, at least Jerry's standing up straight. He almost
but neither one of his eyes are.
12% chance that Caleb Downs would have been available at the 11th pick.
Yeah. it's to me, he's the most can't miss prospect, and I stand by that.
Yeah.
And the
I think
Cowboys are
Downs is the
ecstatic.
truth.
Look at them. They may have just got the steal of the draft by trading up one spot.
Yeah, they might have. The anticipation of the Dolphins doing either the right thing or the wrong thing is amazing.
Yeah, I have to say, I can
Considering
never
they're
get enough of Ohio State beating Notre Dame highlights.
All right, the pick is in. Roger Goodell's coming, and they did not do the right thing. Caden Proctor, a project of an offensive tackle who did not live up to his expectations and his size, goes to the freaking Dolphins. The Dolphins passed on Ruben Bain. Where are you at, Flo? Oh my freaking God. I'm so sorry to all the Dolphins fans. I
I mean,
cannot
Caden
believe they just did
Proctor,
that.
he might be a good
Welcome to being
offensive
a Jet
tackle
fan.
someday.
Caden Proctor has all the talent and size in the world, and he is still unimpressive. Wow. Wow. I cannot believe that I can almost believe that they did not pick Ruben Bain. I cannot believe at all that they picked Proctor over Bain. I'm got a text flow right now.
So one Hurricane's been picked so far. But yeah, to me, I don't see it. I don't see it. And
Wow, I literally cannot believe they just did that.
the
As I
weight
texted to Flo,
issues,
what the fuck? Proctor over Bain. Wow. Wow.
like, look, I'm not shocked they didn't take Bain, but the fact they took Caden Proctor at 12.
Correct. Proctor over Bain. Proctor, yes, I could sort of see them maybe passing on Bain. I think that's a mistake. I think somebody else might trade up here momentarily. If the Rams didn't already take him. But to take Proctor over Bain in Miami is a travesty. And they just pissed off all of their fans.
I think it's going to be interesting to see what the Ravens do under their new regime. Under Harbaugh, it was always, draft wise, the Ravens always made smart, sound decisions. They may not have all panned out, but they still made smart, sound decisions. Be interesting to see what the Ravens do here.
I mean, Moen, I sometimes do my show. I have a standing desk, automatic. I was going to do it standing today, so I didn't sit my ass down for a couple of hours. But I knew the Dolphins existed. And I would have fallen down. If you would have told me the Dolphins would pass on Ruben Bain for Caden Proctor, I would not have believed it. I would not. And I'm not a Dolphins fan. I just could not imagine that they would do that. Dolphins go to Dolphins. Dolphins are the same old damn Dolphins. So pissed.
Now we can cue the highlights in the future of Caden Proctor easily handling Bailey.
All right, now let's we're gonna have to do a poll here because I just gotta know. It will only be in CFB Express though, because it's the only chat I have open and have access to. How pissed are you at the Dolphins for passing on Bain? If you're over on Miami Flow channel, in a little bit, we're going to be wrapping up the stream. So if you want to keep checking out the live stream, come over to CFB Express. Hit the like button on your way out if you do. I'll be continuing here for a bit. I know Moen's going to have to bail at a certain point. But if you're in the CFB Express chat, are you done with the Dolphins for that?
Yeah.
Or do you
I'll be
understand?
watching I'll be watching Miami's Flow channel for the angry reaction. But you never know. Flo may have made his peace with it. He may be looking at the silver lining on that.
Bane to the Dolphins, a better team. I'm here now. My Dolphins are dumb. Bane is going to the Ravens. They always pick Miami players. Let's see. Let me get to the the consensus draft board. So Caden Proctor on the consensus draft board is, what do you think? What do you think the number is?
I had him in 20.
He is 19 on the consensus mock draft board of over, what was the number? 180 big boards from across all of the sports websites, from the big guns on down. 180 sites. There's a 8 or 9 spot jump between, and Bane on them was number 9. So it's a 10 spot difference, and the Dolphins did not take the hometown boy.
Like I said, I can see not taking Bane there, but I just can't see taking Caden Proctor there. You're right. He's a project. I don't think he's ever played to his full ability in college. And, and then there was a decision. He left to go to Iowa. He came back to Alabama.
Right.
Wishy-washy,
Man,
I don't know.
I'm floored. There may not be any quarterbacks being taken, but damn, there's some interesting picks here, even if it's just the order.
The Jets are coming up here. The Jets could take Ty Simpson. They could do the most Jets thing ever and take Ty Simpson.
I would not be 16. Surprised if they take Ty Simpson. I think the Jets are going wide receiver at 16. Or if I were to guess, they're going They're going to go wide receiver. There's enough wide receivers on the board unless we see a run now between the Rams and the Ravens. You know, they could go with Mekhi Lemon. They could go with they're not going to go with another tight end, I don't think. Tyson's off the board. I can see them going with Mekhi Lemon if he's available. I don't think they're going to go with like Monroe Feeling. Thanos off the board. I don't think they're going with an offensive lineman.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're the Jets, you can get
go with McCoy from Tennessee.
You could probably get Branch in the second round if you're the Jets. I think they may take a quarterback at 16. They may be the team.
I don't think they're that high on Ty Simpson.
Well, they were high on Zach Wilson too, so.
They were, literally. And the only time that Zach Wilson scored was when his mom's friends were around.
Nice Cougar joke.
Shonsky says it doesn't matter who the Jets pick, they'll be a bust. I know. Welcome to my life.
Not true. Garrett Wilson was actually very good for them, but they just couldn't give him a quarterback.
Correct. Maybe there's a theory. Maybe it's there because I don't remember if Garrett was the first or second. I don't remember whether he got picked first or Sauce got picked first. In that they were both the same class.
Then they traded Sauce Gardner
this past season, right? Because maybe there's a theory if Garrett was the second pick. I think he might have been. I think he was like a little bit further down, and Sauce was higher up. Maybe the Jets, when they have 2 first-round picks, do well in the second one. Flo hasn't responded. I know.
Let's see here. I said he's probably recording a video right now.
Oh, I think he's drinking right now. All right, we got
like
the
I said.
Rams picked Ty Simpson. Holy shit.
Rams took Ty Simpson. Wow. Okay. No, Matt Stafford, that era is coming to an end. I could see them taking a QB. I think 13 is a reach, but maybe they thought.
I'm not going to doubt. Here's what I'm not going to do. Sean McVay? Am I doubting him on who he wants to anoint and develop? No, I am not doubting Sean McVay.
Look at Nick Saban there, that jackal. Yeah, back-to-back
I mean,
Alabama players, though.
wow.
How long has it been since we saw Alabama players selected 12 and 13 in the draft and not in the top 10?
I can't believe that just happened. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, you hate to question Sean McVay, but I don't see it.
Well, you know who just got much more valuable? Garrett Nussmeier, Carson Beck, and Drew Aller, depending upon who you want, because Simpson's drafted multiple spots ahead of where he was projected.
I don't think anybody, if anybody takes any of them in the first round, if anybody takes any of those three players in the first round, they need to have their head examined. I don't care how bad you need a quarterback. Those guys are going to be around in the later rounds. Just
feels like the GM is going to look like a genius or a complete fool.
I mean, you got to put a lot of faith in Sean McVay. I mean, he has done he's done a great job at evaluating talent, but I just having seen one season of Ty Simpson, I don't see going at number 13.
I don't see it either, and he's been talking. He talks too much recently.
Yeah, he talked a bunch of shit about Indiana, and Indiana kicked their ass.
And he's putting out Miami's business with him, as opposed to the fact that they wanted him more than Alabama did. I think Bain's going to get selected in the first round. I don't think you have to worry about that, Jorge. But man, it's been wild. Tears like taking punches since the third pick.
Buccaneers, I mean, that's not home team, but I mean, you're still same state. Bain could play in Florida still.
You know, Tom Pelissero has said that he thinks it's not out of the question that a third quarterback sneaks into the bottom of the first round. That he had Beck moving up a bunch as an example, Aller as well. Less about Nussmeier.
I mean, you're taking on a project whoever you pick.
Right.
They're not day one ready. I don't think Ty Simpson's day one ready.
No, I don't think Ty Simpson's day one ready. And I think he's a good quarterback, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't have enough reps either.
Yeah, it's just, and I know Fernando Mendoza wasn't setting the world on fire at Cal either, but I mean, at least you have more than one season of tape to go look at.
Yeah, and he was running around to save his life kind of thing. And he had that it thing in the crunch, in the clutch.
In pressure, yeah.
Through.
And we certainly know Ty Simpson doesn't have that.
Wow.
This is the same guy who said we knew what Indiana was going to do, and they only beat us by 38.
Exactly. Like, we knew what we were going to do, too, and we beat you.
Yeah. But, I mean, he is going to the NFC West, defending Super Bowl champions. The Seattle Seahawks are in the West.
What's up, Cybertech Kane? He thinks Bain's going to Tampa. I hope for Bain's sake he's going to either the Ravens or Bucks, because I don't want him to get stuck with my Jets. I like him. But he's not. They're not going to take Bain after taking Bailey, so I think he's safe either way.
It would be the most Jets thing ever for the Jets to get Nussmeier at 16.
I don't think they're that incompetent. Aaron Glenn, I think, is. I don't think their GM is. Wow. Well, Vega Ione is about chalk for here for the Ravens, so they want offensive line. Bain's officially in the fall zone.
Yeah, they're really penalizing him for those physical attributes. They're really not cutting him any slack.
It's a shame that he only did all of his stats against actual real offensive linemen that are going to be first and second round draft picks in the playoffs.
Well, the good thing is though, he falls later, he goes to a better team.
Yes.
If he falls to the Lions, God, can you imagine that with Aiden Hutchinson on one side and Bain on the other?
The draft got more interesting than I thought it would be, even though there hasn't been a ton of trades.
Yeah, I think a lot of people fell in love with guys, and you weren't getting them away from that.
Seems that way.
All right, the Tampa Bay pick is in. Let's see if it's Bain. They need line help, so it would be hard to imagine it's not Bain. But
I mean, to me, if the Bucks don't pick a wide receiver here, I think the Jets are going with Mekhi Lemon from USC.
Okay,
that's my prediction. If the Bucks don't, go with a wide receiver, I think the Jets might have looked at Ty Simpson at 16, whether I like that or not. I think you could look. I would not be surprised if the Jets were eyeing a quarterback in their second pick of the second round tomorrow night. The first pick of the second round, which is the second pick.
And which quarterback would you like to see him take?
Well, that's a hard one. I actually think Carson Beck would be actually really good in the Jets system and in that market for with expectations, but I also don't know that any quarterback the Jets were to pick in the second or third round tomorrow is going to get the full time to develop, because the Jets will probably suck again next year and they will have a high draft pick. And even if they do not have a high draft pick, they have 3 first round picks to get a high first round pick to be in, whether it's the Arch Manning or whoever game, in what is likely to be a generational quarterback draft next year. Not guaranteed, but it's very possible to be one of those theoretical ones, though last year at this time, we thought Cade Klubnik might be the number 1 pick.
Yeah, that's true. We thought Nussmeier would be in top 3.
And Lenora Sellers would be coming out. And, 5
and Drew Aller.
Drew Aller, right? And right now we're like, oh, well, there were 2 quarterbacks taken.
This has just been an unreal draft. It just doesn't seem. This seems like an alternate universe draft.
It does. Shonsky, you're hoping that Bain drops to Dallas at 20. Is that who you're referring to?
God, Harlan, can you imagine 21,
28, Francis to New York is big time for his Giants. Good draft for the Giants so far on paper. Canes in New York. I live in
Dallas
Tampa, so
got
Bain goes there, I'm officially a Bucks fan. I'm done with the Dolphins.
Imagine the Cowboys get Bain and Downs.
I'm not looking at X. I'm not looking at Miami websites, but when I'm done with the stream, I'm sure it's going to be endless pleasure watching the anger.
I wouldn't get too cocky, David Bailey.
Oh, I already, like I said, I'm more upset or concerned with.
You're already dead inside as an NFL.
Yeah, I'm already dead inside, and the pick that I care most about is actually your boy trying to protect my guy Cam Ward with some actual receiving help. So,
well, Cam Ward, he doesn't underthrow receivers, so Carnell Tate will have that to look forward to. Yeah.
What is the best pick of the top 10 in your mind? Who's gonna be the best pick in terms of the best fit, the right value?
I'm going to say it right now. The Giants probably had the best first round. I think getting Arvell Reese at 5. I don't think the Giants expected him to be there at 5. And then taking Francis at 10, you've got an offensive tackle for the next decade. I'm really still shocked about the Jeremiah Love reach. I think that's the biggest reach in the draft. And it's not that I don't like Jeremiah Love. I just think taking a running back in the top 5, I think that if anything, we've learned that running back is pretty much an expendable, unendable position in the draft. I mean, you take a running back in the second round, third round. They're just so apt to get injured in the NFL. And I mean, I don't know. I think number 3 is a reach for Jeremiah Love. I really do.
Yeah, that's a little bit high.
Somebody was a little bit high when they made that pick. But you're the Arizona Cardinals, and that's something you do. So Cardinals maintaining tradition. Here come the Bucks. Let's see.
All right, the Bucks pick is in. Jets are on the clock. We're done selling stuff to America across the 4 networks showing this. Reuben Bain Jr. goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, completely pissing off Dolphins fans even further.
The Bucks got great draft value on that. I'm saying I'm a little disappointed in the outfits tonight. Usually you got these guys really peacocking with some plaid or some lavender. Everybody's kind of subdued. It's kind of like a funeral.
One of your guys had what, purple on, right? Purple suit.
Caleb. Yeah. You got to flaunt it a little bit. And I mean, just like a drab brown suit, and it just ain't doing it. But then again, I get it. You don't want to be the asshole who shows up decked out like a pimp and you don't get drafted. Yeah, Reuben Bain Jr. is going to play with a chip on his shoulder. He looks pissed. So here comes your team again. Who did the Jets grab?
I think they'll draft Mekhi Lemon.
Okay. I'm waiting for him to reach for a quarterback. I just want to see. I mean, it's great. You get Mekhi Lemon, you got Garrett Wilson, you got Lemon, and you got a quarterback. I mean, who's going to be the Jets' starting quarterback this season?
It's going to be Geno. I mean, what's wrong with that?
It's Geno.
Geno Smith, yeah, man.
I mean, as far as journeyman go, he's no Ryan Fitzpatrick.
No, he doesn't have the beard work in the same way either.
What was Jason Taylor wearing there? Looks like he's wearing garlic cloves trying to keep away a vampire. I guess if someone's going to make a fashion statement, it might as well be a coach. Yeah, very good for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's
very good for Tampa Bay
for them.
We got another commercial. Here we go.
Another commercial.
Fields best available. He's got Monroe Freeling, the offensive tackle, is his best available.
I still can't believe the Dolphins didn't pick Bain.
I'm telling you, these guys get programmed into what a player is supposed to be, what physical attributes they're supposed to have. And they get blinded by it. They don't watch the on-field play. I mean, case in point, Vernon Gholston.
Some of these things, man, in my opinion. But Becky, Gino wasn't that bad of a quarterback. He's going back to the Jets, and he's older. He's not the guy that did what he did those couple of years in Seattle, in my opinion. Plus, it's the Jets. You got to remember, you have to add the suck tax. And I can't believe they drafted another fucking tight end. Though I think Sadiq is one of the best players in the draft.
That is certainly a pick.
Sadiq is great. But. Look, I mean, that's right about where he should be. I just didn't see the Jets.
Listen, he's a great tight end, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's such a Jets pick.
Show that highlight against Rutgers. That's
super. You got it, man. So it's not just Miami. Oh, man. Go Titans. That's all I got to say. Go Titans.
With everything you needed, why do you... I mean, do we think Kenyon Sadiq is a game-breaking tight end?
Maybe.
See, if it's a maybe, you don't take a pick in the first round on a tight end. Hey, prove me wrong, Jets. Prove me wrong, but I think you're going to prove me right.
Jets
I think Kenyon Sadiq's a fine tight end. He's very athletic, but
Mr. Moen, can you hold the fort for me for a couple seconds
sure.
and let you get out of here? I was going to help my dog take out his stress of being a Jets-related family.
There you go. Let your dog take a Jets on the lawn there.
I'll be right back.
Waiting on the Detroit Lions to make their pick. They say the pick is in. Detroit Lions need offensive line help, edge, safety, cornerback. Thieneman here would be a good pick, I think, for the Lions. Pick up the second best safety in the draft at 17. Back-to-back Oregon picks because the Jets just picked a tight end. We'll have to see. But, yeah, it's been one of those drafts, hasn't it? And we got another commercial. So obviously need another commercial. Got to fit as many commercials in here as we can. A T-Maybe commercial. I say that because if you got T-Mobile, it's T-Maybe. You might get a signal, you might not. Then we get an ad for Kentucky Fried Chicken. That chicken never looks that good. It always looks like it's greasy and it's held under a lamp for about 7 hours. And there's some middle-aged guy having a conversation about a dandelion on his driveway. And then a bunch of creepy faces on a commercial. This is probably for insurance. Let's see. Is it an insurance commercial? Oh, more living donor liver transplants than any other program in the country. More memories, less waiting. That was for the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. So I guess Pitt got a little ad time on here for Pittsburgh being the NFL draft host. I would select what you guys are saying in chat, but I can't do that. So I'm just going to read out what I can. Sadiq is a beast, but the Jets have so many more needs. Yeah, I mean, he's the best tight end in the draft, but man. Lions probably go lion here. Probably offensive lineman would be a good pick for him. Might want to get some defensive line help for Aiden Hutchinson, though. I think the second and third are going to be even more crazy. Shonsky, I don't disagree with you with the way these teams are evaluating talent. How wrong we've got the first round so far. It's definitely going to be a crazy draft. Kind of interested to see if Concepcion, the receiver out of Texas A&M, makes it into the first round. All right. We are still not back from commercial. Here we go. Nope, it's a commercial. I thought we were back, but it's a commercial for the NFL mobile app. Because if you can't be disappointed just watching your team on TV on Sunday, add it to another screen. Okay, now we're back, but nope, there's a Goodyear blimp. That's an ad for Goodyear. Jeez. Well, the Lions pick is in. We'll see. Vikings are on the clock. Kind of interested to see where Caden McDonald ends up, if he ends up getting into the first round of this draft. I think if he's going to be drafted, I think it would be in the first round anyway. It would be right around here. Right between that 18 to 22 spot. And with this pick in the NFL draft, I'm waiting for the graphic to flash up here. Oh, it's Easton. He's a Make-A-Wish kid. Good for him. Don't do him wrong, Lions. Don't do him wrong. Pick a winner for this kid. All right, Roger, let him read the pick, man. Lions had a fall off last year, but I think maybe they're getting ready for a comeback season. They took Blake Miller, the offensive tackle out of Clemson. I don't know. They needed a line help. I don't know that. I mean, that was probably best available. Kid out of Strongsville, Ohio. Could have had a chance to play at Ohio State. Chose to go to Clemson. If he'd have went to Ohio State, he'd probably been a top 11 pick. Bane to my Bucks, Big Tampa, says OC Kane. Yeah, that's a good pick for them. I think they got quite a bit of value out of that. Blake Miller out of Clemson. Well, they got line hope. We'll see how they develop him. I certainly think he's more polished than Caden Proctor. Probably doesn't have the upside that Caden Proctor has. But he's certainly more polished. He's more ready to play in the NFL. We'll see. The Vikings are on the board, guys. They pick is in. Pick is in. They need defensive line help, offensive line. Need some help in the secondary. Where do they go? Do they take Mekhi Lemon here? It seems like they've already given up on J.J. McCarthy, but do they take a wide receiver here? Caleb Banks, defensive tackle, Florida. Solid pick. Solid pick. They needed defensive line help. They get a solid defensive tackle in Caleb Banks. We'll see how this goes. But I don't hate that pick. That pick is not a shocking one to me. They need defensive line help. They go and get one of the better defensive line players in the draft. I had Caden McDonald slated ahead of him, but that's, might be looking through Homer eyes there. Taking a look at some highlights here against LSU. I don't know that that's a fair highlight, but again, this guy played in the SEC against the best competition. I mean, it's got to count for something. The pick is in for the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers they need O-line help. They need safety. Could this be Thieneman? I think Thieneman goes here. They need safety help. He's the next best safety in the draft. I think he's got to go here. The Cowboys are probably going to have to focus on edge rusher, potentially defensive tackle. Another damn commercial. This is part of the draft that I love when they force commercials in between every pick.
What craziness did I miss here? Did the Jets
50,
get back in the draft another tight end?
50 minutes of commercials. I mean, if they could sell ad space on Roger Goodell's forehead, I think they would at this point.
It's weird because I only feel like the Jets drafted a tight end with the 42nd pick last year. Now they're different. Mason Taylor, Sadiq's more of a weapon type, but man, Clemson starts going off. Blake Miller, okay. A bunch of players from Clemson should go in the bottom half of this first round if things go chalk. Caleb Banks, who I called out yesterday for being one of the people I thought was overrated at 40, goes number 18 to the Vikings. He only played in a few games last year. I think I said that he has first round physical and undrafted free agent mentality. But
they're probably they're drafting on potential. Like I said, I had him slotted behind Caden McDonald on my board, but I was telling somebody today, defensive tackles that get pressure on the quarterback are sexier picks than the guys who stuff the run.
Man, oh man, I'm definitely surprised. Sadiq for the Jets. Bain not going to the Dolphins. The order's a little bit wild. Even on the most generous draft board there, that Vikings pick, Banks was around 42 on the mock consensus. Most people had him as a second-round pick.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to have 4 Buckeyes drafted in the top 10 since my team isn't drafting tonight, as far as I know. They could still trade into the first round if there's somebody that they really wanted. But I don't have that much faith in Duke Tobin. So, but going 4 in the top 11, I'll take it.
There's nothing wrong with that. It might not be a record, but it's definitely not a very common occurrence. So,
especially when I think outside of Sonny Styles, all those guys are juniors.
Yeah, that's right. Which I think is ironically, we did last night on College Football Express when it was segment we started doing was And we started off with Ohio State. 5 reasons why Ohio State will win the national championship, and 1 reason that will kill their chances. And the 1 reason that will kill their chances to me is the fact that you guys are losing so many guys on the defense that just were in the top 11 picks with -1. I know one of them was a wide receiver, but that's a lot of talent to. And I don't think that Ohio State's going to the 50th ranked scoring defense or anything, but generationally great scoring defense for modern college football. Definitely a little bit of a challenge, but Monroe Fielding to Georgia, that's actually a pretty chalky pick. I mean, going to the Panthers is a chalky pick.
That's a solid pick.
Yeah,
that's a solid
about,
pick.
That's normal range. No outlier. Now, whether you're a Panthers fan and really were looking to bolster the line, or you wanted something more sexy, you're right around the right place.
The interesting one to me is going to be number 20 here. Dallas desperately needs line help. Well, what? Nope, the Eagles have traded up with the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is no longer on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. And the pick is in.
The Eagles making a trade. That's not a normal occurrence.
Man, I wonder who the Eagles have to have Thieneman up here. They have to be moving up for Thieneman. Yeah, they have to be moving up for Thieneman. I can't see any other pick for the Eagles here. So the Cowboys get the 2026 23rd overall and 2 2026 fourth round picks.
2 26 fourth rounders?
Yes.
Still kind of strange for those guys to make an in-division trade.
The Cowboys probably think they're getting good value out of that. Well, especially if they think the guy they once. Okay, you're getting rid of AJ Brown. I can see it.
Yeah, Diana Rossini said something along those lines.
I wonder where she got that information.
I don't know. Rough week for her. Yeah, the Cowboys definitely need defensive help. It's a good pick for the Eagles there.
And you know what? Dallas must think the guy they want is there at 23.
Yeah. Sort of balanced out. They probably didn't recover all of their picks from trading up earlier, but they, scored some more total points up.
Now, is there anybody at edge we think the Cowboys are taking at 23?
Edge at 23. Let's see.
Who's the best available edge left?
Well, they picked let's see. Well, Bailey's gone, Bain's gone. Keldrick Falk is available, I think, still. He didn't get picked yet from Auburn. Messidor is there.
Yeah.
He could have Michael Irvin bringing the belt to Jerry and asking him to do something. Then you got a little bit further down. You've got, there's still first round edge of the second round, top of second round. You got T.J. Parker from Clemson, Cassius Howell from Texas A&M, though he was abused by Miami in that game.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. Did they take a defensive tackle there? Do they put something next to Quinnen Williams?
On the DT side, you got who's available. Chris. There's not a lot of the defensive tackle inside DL was not a high first round quantity here. You got your guy from Ohio State, Caden McDonald, is I think the highest ranked one on a lot of boards. On the consensus one I'm looking at, he's the highest rated guy. You got Peter Woods, who underperformed relatively for Clemson this year. Again, Caleb Banks went way higher than projected. He was projected at number 44 overall, and he went number 18 to the Vikings.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what the Chargers do. Harbaugh usually likes defense. But, I mean, the Cowboys must have somebody in mind that they're moving to 23 for. They don't think the Steelers or the Chargers are grabbing them. Which means it might be a reach at 23.
For sure. And Mo, anytime you need to bail, feel free, man. I appreciate you hanging on as long as you have.
Yeah, I think I'll probably bail after that 23rd pick.
Okay.
I'll hang out with you till then, because I think Caden McDonald's probably going in the next 2 picks. I think he's either going to the Chargers or the Cowboys.
Is that the last Ohio State guy you think might make it into the first round?
Yeah, that'd be the last one I would put in the first round. There's other Ohio State guys on there, but I mean,
all right. Who do you guys think Who do you think the Steelers have picked? Since it looks like we might have a bit of ceremony here before we get to it. I don't know if they're going to go to commercial before the Steelers and milk it out for all it's worth.
Let's say Zachariah Branch, wide receiver. They definitely need weapons in there in Pittsburgh. Yeah, whoever the quarterback ends up being.
I think that they could be going. Let's see. Concepcion, maybe?
I got Concepcion at the latter part of the first round. He's got great speed. I just don't know. We got to have Roethlisberger come in here. I hate the Steelers.
If they go on the offensive line, it could be like Blake Miller didn't get picked yet, right?
No, Blake Miller.
No, he went earlier, right?
Yeah, he went earlier.
He was gone. Omar Cooper could be a wide receiver here from Indiana.
That's not a bad pick. I would. But I think if you're Pittsburgh,
feels like a Steeler, but they're not really looking for an edge guy or even the DL at all. So
I feel like they have to get some offensive weapons in Pittsburgh. But Jesus Christ, how long is this Steelers suck-off going to last?
Until you're pissed. That's how long it's going to last.
Yeah, I know. I'm already pissed. Come out and say the pick. There. I mean, bunch of highlights of the Steelers beating up on my Bengals. I don't care for that.
A lot of people coming out on stage there.
I got to have 15 people.
They couldn't afford any sleeves.
Yeah, we're getting to that point of the draft where they're going to have everybody who picks is going to be, or every charitable organization they need to push out there is going to be, because, got to remind people the NFL cares.
All right, so let's put this up while we're waiting. So Mando, who is from the Caneswear pod. Mo and Caneswear is like one of the biggest non-official Miami Hurricane stores down in South Florida. They have a podcast YouTube channel show that they do with former, one of the quote unquote insiders. They're saying that somebody trusted them a text that the Finns had Bane as a second rounder. If the Finns had Bane as a second rounder, you could get all the concussions for the next quarterback and do all the trades you want. The Dolphins are screwed if that's true. Because you might be able to decide about, well, hey, the measurables aren't here or there. But if they have Bane after what they saw on the field as a second round projection, they're just idiots. And I'm not sorry.
Steelers pick an offensive lineman. Color me shocked.
Max Ian Anchor. I don't even know who that is, to be honest with you. Let's see. He was projected as an end of the first round. I do actually remember, just the name is escaping me for a second. End of the first round projection for who the Steelers just did. Like number 29 on the consensus big board across all of them. So not that far up. They must be high on him. Going to get colder for him coming in from Arizona State. All right, so we got the Chargers on the clock.
I'm interested to see what Harbaugh does here. I think Caden McDonald is the perfect player for Harbaugh's system. He's a run stopper. But we'll see. Will Harbaugh take an Ohio State guy? That dude was grabbing Mike Vrabel like he was a sideline reporter.
Chargers pick is in, so we're down to the Cowboys are back on the clock.
All right. Let's see here. Chargers pick is in. Let's go.
After the Cowboys pick is done, if you're watching over on Miami Flow, we're going to wrap up the stream over there, finish it off over on CFB Express only, see where Messidor, a few others land. Moen will be heading off. But before this last two picks come in, Moen, just remind everyone one more time where they can catch you on all of your other shows in case they want. Also, if you're watching, that link will be that link is already in the description for this video over on CFB Express.
Yeah, they just brought out a bunch of sandwiches on the NFL draft thing for the ABC feed, and I got distracted. I would say follow me on at the CFB Mafia. You can also follow me on Twitter /X/ whatever Elon's going to name it next, at Moen After Dark. I do live streams on Fridays at 8 p.m. on the big College Football Mafia. We do the Big Freaking Friday show on Fridays, and then on Sundays I host my own show with Rock here on Sunday nights, Moen After Dark. So definitely check those out if you have not done so yet. And if you're just tuning in to Miami Flow's channel or CFB Express, make sure you give a like and a subscribe. Those help in the algorithm, and they're free.
They're very free. Super chats and memberships are great, but a like is totally fine as well.
Absolutely. Chargers pick is in. Let's see. Akeem Messidor. So they go edge.
There you go.
So who's our best edge left on the big board?
Best edge left on the big board is, in theory... All right, so Bailey's gone. Bane is gone. Keldrick Falk at Auburn. Messidor's gone. TJ Parker from Clemson. And then Cassius Howell.
Okay. Well, let's see what the Cowboys do here. They need it. They need help at edge. Do they think that there's an edge-worthy pick here in the first round? See how quick they make this pick. They're on the clock, so they're thinking about it. Means they probably had their eyes on Messidor. I mean, not a bad pick for the Chargers. They're losing Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
Joey Bosa's in the later stage of his career.
Sharon said it's the worst first-round draft I've ever seen. People are happy with the Messidor pick for the Chargers. That's the third Miami guy picked in the top 22, I guess. So it's been an Ohio State Miami draft so far, not unexpected.
Yeah, I think Alabama has 2. I don't think anybody else was. I think Clemson might have 2 as well.
Clemson has a good shot if they don't already have 2. Besides having had Blake Miller go, they have a bunch of guys who are primed to possibly go in the last 10 picks here. They have a lot of guys on the hot boards that are, in that 20 to 35, 40 zone, which can easily hit into the end of the first round here. A bunch of whom last year were projected to possibly be top 10 picks, but the Clemson season, of course, did not do what people were hoping for if you're a Clemson fan. What's up, Antoine? Says Arizona State has 2 for the first time in 25 years. That's right. That's a big pick for them.
One of them was a bit of a reach, though, Antoine. I don't know that you take that wide receiver number 8 overall. I think he went 8 overall, 7 or 8. But hey, he might prove me wrong.
All right, the Cowboys are on the clock. Moen's looking for a 5th Ohio State guy to go off the board.
We're looking for Caden McDonald here.
Done. We will move this chat only over to CFB Express. I'll put that link in the comments now.
All right, let me see the Dallas Cowboys pick. Do they make it an Ohio State first round and take Caden McDonald here? Is there a linebacker or a defensive edge left that is worthy of a first round pick for the Dallas Cowboys? Pick is in. As soon as we get done with our 943rd commercial break here, we'll get to see it.
Definitely not short of ad dollars.
Yeah. Oh, man, these pill commercials. They wonder why they have a drug problem in America. They advertise it on TV 24/7. I guess people are that entitled where they'll just walk into their doctor and tell the doctor what they want. Yeah, give me some Wegovy, some Vraylar. I saw a commercial for this. I have this.
Luke Chaser J, I think you're probably waiting for tomorrow for Keontae Scott to go. Just the way it's just where Nichols wind up going, but probably will have oversized impact wherever he goes as a nickel. And they're back. I really don't know where the Cowboys go here.
Yeah, I don't know if there's an edge or a linebacker you can take at 23. But I don't know. Maybe. I could say that a lot for every pick tonight. I don't know. Here comes Roger Goodell with the pick. Mekhi Lawrence from UCF.
He was 37th overall on the mock draft database.
I don't know. They traded up and got Caleb Downs. Well, that'll do it for me, guys. Thanks for having me on the show, Rock.
Thanks for joining, Mo, and I appreciate it. A few more rounds. You still got a chance there to figure that out. Everybody, please consider checking out Moen on the College Football Mafia if you have not already done so. And with that, we will send him off to check out those guys tomorrow on Big Figure Friday. Has day 2 of the draft kicks off over on the College Football Mafia. All right. And if you're watching over on Miami Flow, we're going to wrap it up over there. Come over to CFB Express. Link is already in the chat. But thanks for checking out what you've done so far as well. And we'll catch you guys later. But hopefully just jump on over to CFB Express. All right, so we've got a few more picks to go here in the first round as we wrap up with the Browns on the clock. Their pick is now in. Bears are on the clock next. As we get some more commercials because we haven't really had enough of those. Browns need a lot, as you would expect. They have, I think it is funny, they still have QB as a need with all the QBs in that room that we all know about from last year. Offensive line, wide receiver, cornerback, and edge, all on the possible docket for the Browns here in the bottom third of the 2026 first round NFL draft. All right, so everyone is in the chat still. What is the pick you're most baffled by so far in the draft? And who do you think made the best pick for value so far in the 2026 first round? Drop that in the chat. Let us know. And if you happen to be watching this later on demand, which I don't expect a lot of people to do, you can drop those in the comments as well. See what they think about the Browns' needs here. I don't think they're going for a quarterback. They've been hyping up Deshaun Watson again recently, so I wonder if he's really in play to be the starter after both all of the suspensions and injuries, or do they really go after a quarterback sometime in this draft to add one more arm into that room and just battle it out all summer long? They could definitely use somebody to help out Myles Garrett on the other edge for sure. I think it's a good analysis, but the offense is just dreadful. So I think they got to do something regardless of who the quarterback is here to help whoever's going to be lined up behind center. Yeah, I like that pick. I wish the Jets would have picked Lemon. Again, Sadiq's a monster as a weapon. I think he may make me eat my words. If you're a Jets fan, it's hard picking, a tight end the year before Mason Taylor, Jason Taylor's kid. It was the 42nd pick. So I guess the 10th pick or so of the second round. And now you're picking with the 16th round of the first one, 16th pick of the first round the next year. That's just a lot of draft capital spent on tight ends. Granted, they are different, but the Jets are more often than not only having one tight end on the field. So these commercials are definitely sapping the energy. We'll see this moves a little bit faster. If not, we might wrap it up here in a little bit and just watch the last few picks offline. Chat it up over on Twitter. If you haven't already followed the channel, please consider doing so. You can follow me at Rock and Rant over on X as well. Miami Flow over on X, and of course Miami Flow over on YouTube for all the Canes coverage you might want if you're a Canes fan. And they go with the wide receiver, as Mel Kiper was saying, apparently. And that's what they do. So they get Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M, joins the Cleveland Browns. Now, which quarterback he's going to be catching passes from, theoretically, guess that remains to be seen. And the Bears are up after a great first season under their new head coach. Caleb Williams making a bit of a turnaround here and is under the new head coach. Their needs: safety, offensive line, edge, DL, and wide receiver. I think you're right. They removed 2 minutes for every pick to put in more commercials. That seems about right. I think we will wrap it up here after the Bills pick. One more pick after the Bears. I'm spent, and I think unless some interesting moves happen with trades that we hear ahead, I think we can just kind of wrap it up. It's going to be interesting to see what happens on day 2, especially on the quarterback front. Who's QB3 ultimately in the draft pick? Is it going to be Carson Beck, Drew Aller, Garrett Nussmeier, somebody else potentially? A lot of these guys are ranked with third-round grades and, the so-called experts, but that doesn't mean, as we know all the time, that that's where the teams have them. Ty Simpson went a little bit higher than some expected, coming from Alabama and getting ready to ride the bench for a year or two, still with the Rams, maybe 3. But that's probably not the worst thing in the world for him under Sean McVay. No pressure for him, and he could use some development time. Hey, one more commercial. What else could we look for? I'm wondering if there's people burning Dolphins jerseys down in South Florida tonight. Appreciate everyone who's joined us tonight. Know there's a lot of draft coverage going on, and the fact you hung out with us for a while is very cool. Thank you so much for that. Antoine says David Bailey had 0 sacks versus Max Heinecker last year when they played ASU. Yeah, like I'm not a Bailey fan. If you watched our show last night, College Football Express, we talked about who might be overrated, underrated, and busts. I have David Bailey as a bust, and of course the Jets, who is my childhood team that I've given up on, picked David Bailey. I think he's got a lot of skills. I don't know if he'll be a total bust, but I think he's a stretch at 2. He's not very good against the run, and he racked up his stats against a lot of inferior guys. The only tough offensive line he played last year, really, outside of the playoffs, was against Utah. Certainly didn't have ridiculous things going on in the Stanford time. I'm not a big fan of his. Yes. Great pick by the Jets in number 2. Yep. I would have taken Reese. I really would have tried to trade down, to be honest. There's no Dolphins jerseys left. Yeah. But there's probably a hell of a bonfire going on. All right, the Bears are on the clock. The pick is in, and then after the Bills, we will wrap it up. Don't forget to check out. I'm not sure if Flo's doing anything over on Miami Flo as a truck goes by outside our window. He might be on tomorrow sometimes, but definitely check out Flo on Sunday at his regular show with John Sunday night. I'm sure they'll have a lot of comments about the draft and the Canes in there. Yeah, I agree, man. It's definitely crazy how Bain dropped to 15. At least he didn't drop, epically like an Aaron Rodgers or God forbid to day 2. And if the comments earlier that the Dolphins had a second-round grade on him are true, good luck being a Dolphins fan as well. I might be a Jets fan, but you're not in much better space. Go Titans, by the way. Messidor jersey for the Chargers will look pretty good, though. It's almost Miami blue. Commercials are just killer, man. Yeah, if you're a Bucks fan, I think you got one of the steals of the draft. I don't really care about the measurables, arm length, whatever. I think by halfway through the first season, a lot of people are going to look really freaking stupid in the NFL. Really dumb. I have not one doubt about what Bane's going to do in the pros, arm length or not. Bane and Caleb Downs are 2 players that I think were underdrafted. Proctor was completely overdrafted. And it's not really about Bane. I would have said that if he went to some other team that wasn't the Dolphins, who had the choice to take a hometown hero. All right, the Bears pick apparently is in, so let's see what it is up on the board. Dylan Thieneman goes to the Bears. That's a great pick for them. That's an excellent, excellent pick. He was consensus top 2018, so they got real value there based off of the combined consensus mock drafts. And it looks like the Texans just traded and moved up. Or maybe I just missed that. Yeah, the Texans traded with the Bills, I'm thinking, if I'm not mistaken. This will still be the last pick I cover. Again, thanks to everybody for hanging out with us tonight. Let's see who the Texans thought it was worth moving up a couple of spots with to guarantee that they got. Jumping up over ahead of the 49ers. Agree, that was a good pick. And the Texans pick is in, so let's see what they did here before we wrap it up tonight. And did the Dolphins just trade back up in? Maybe we'll have to look there. If you're following stuff on the shows, I can't really hear them, or on social. Am I right? Did the Dolphins just trade with the 49ers there? I wonder who they jumped up in to get here in the first round. Maybe they decided to jump back up and get somebody who's like 70th on the draft boards. So there wound up being more trades here than maybe was thinking earlier. So that seems to be about the 6th or so trade, if I'm give or take. Dolphins, there's nothing you can do to make your fans happy after what you did tonight. I'm sure they know who they want. So what do you guys think? Who did the Dolphins come up to pick? What position? Wide receiver, edge, which would be ironic, cornerback. If you're a Dolphins fan, who do you think the Dolphins are picking with 27? Dolphins probably getting a quarterback or another tackle or guard. I mean, quarterback would definitely rock the draft at this point because nobody's expecting another quarterback to go in the first round. A lot of really short picks trades, jumping up 2 or 3 spots throughout the draft. Other than the Giants trade, I don't think anybody really made big, massive moves up, just incremental to leapfrog ahead of somebody and make sure they got who they wanted. Well, there's another one. That's a stretch pick. Consensus for him is 51 on the big board across 180 mock drafts. So he was a mid-second rounder on most people's, not scouts, but, people who follow the sport, most of theirs, he was a mid-second rounder. Let's see, where is he? On PFF, Rutledge. Let's see, I still haven't found him. Maybe I missed him. On PFF's draft board, Keelan Rutledge was ranked number 74 overall. So they have him with a 3rd round grade. And the Texans just traded up to get him in the first round. This makes no sense whatsoever. Draft has been completely wild. It's getting wilder. So anywhere from 51 to 74, 51 being the consensus for Keelan Rutledge across 180 mock drafts. PFF had him with the 74th overall rank. Right? So you're talking whatever, 10th 10th pick of the 3rd round, and the Texans just traded up, gave up some draft picks to move up 3 spots or 2 spots to get him there. So we'll see what the Dolphins do, and we'll wrap it up. And I'm sure we'll have more to say about it in the coming days as well. But I'm just curious now what the drunk-ass Dolphins are doing. As we hit one more commercial, because there's not one more thing that we could have been sold today. I'm very curious what happens with the quarterbacks tomorrow. There's a lot of talk out there that Carson Beck's been moving up. Tom Pelissero from the NFL Network has a really good report on what scouts behind the scenes are saying about all the quarterbacks. You might want to check that out. I think it's posted on his Twitter account, his X account, whatever. I am curious to see who's going to be QB3 for sure. It's very strange for a non-quarterback heavy draft. How many things just seemed a little bit off today? And nobody super fell like bizarrely bad, you know, not from like projected top 5 to day 2. Bain is probably going to be the one that's considered to have dropped the most, but even he and a lot of mocks only dropped 5 or 6 spots. You know, earlier on in the season, there were people who had him in the top 4, top 5, and there still were some people who had that kind of grade on him, but the general consensus wasn't necessarily locked in there. And he probably landed at a good spot for him. The Dolphins should also just probably stay away from Alabama players at this point. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not a Dolphins fan, but then again, you know, Jets, Titans. And I think it's fairly easy to say right now that on paper the Giants, because they had 2 very good picks for themselves there. Noah going to the Giants at 10. Orville Reese dropping multiple spots in most people's eyes to number 5. Still surprised Jeremiah Love went number 3 overall. Back-to-back years where we've had running back in the top, 5 or 6? All right, the Dolphins pick is in. Our last pick live. There's still 4 more picks for this round. Could be some more trades, but Chris Johnson on the mock database had a 35 rank. On PFF, he's 46th overall on their draft board. It's not a bad pick. I'm just not impressed with it. I don't know that you needed to give up any picks to get Chris Johnson from San Diego State. All right. Dolphins are going to Dolphin. The Jets are going to Jet. 4 Ohio State guys off the board in the first 11 spots. 3 Canes in the first 22. A few teams still have a chance to get multiple picks here as we wrap up the get their second pick in here in the bottom of the first round. Rounds 2 and 3 tomorrow night. We'll see what happens on the quarterback front. Once again, appreciate you guys checking us out. If you haven't hit like, do that. If you haven't hit subscribe, and we will check you all out next time. Have a good day 2 of the draft for everyone.